This episode of Warp Factor 10 is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast. Hey everyone, welcome into Warp Factor 10, our show about everything Star Trek. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burleman Gaming. Burley, how you doing, man? Another episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds we're going to be talking about in this episode. So how are you today?
I'm good. I really enjoyed watching this.
Yeah?
I watched this last night, and I must say, please I'm hoping the rest of the season can keep up with this quality, because this has just been damn good this season so far.
Yeah, we have, let's see, I think 3 more episodes in this season. Yeah, and I was looking and I saw this coming week's episode is called The Elysian Kingdom. So that should be interesting. And episode 9's title has also been dropped as well. It's called All Those Who Wander. All Those Who Wander, yeah. And then episode 10, of course, the final episode of the season, to be announced. It hasn't been announced yet. So yeah, looking forward to that. So before we move on, everybody watching in video format, of course, this episode is a spoiler-filled episode because we talk about a lot of the stuff that happened during the episode as we review the episode. So just a spoiler warning for you. If you have not watched the episode, please go and watch the episode on Paramount Plus. And then after watching the episode, come back and watch our video review. So yeah, I just want to let everybody know that, this is a spoiler-filled review episode here. So with that said, Burley, the Serene Squall. So yeah, space pirates, Aarrg, you mateys, Aarrg, Aarrg. Yeah, I mean, this was a cool episode, man. I really enjoyed it, and the acting, the character acting in this was really really good. Counselor Aspen, as we see in the beginning of the episode, she was a former Starfleet counselor. She was a really good character. I really liked, her performance in this, especially with Spock, and we get more of some of the other characters. We get T'Pring again. She's back in this episode. We get the situation and, the on and off kind of a relationship thing between Spock and T'Pring, and then Spock and Nurse Chapel. It was a cool episode for most of the characters. So what did you think?
I agree with you on that. You knew they were bringing back T'Pring because they're like previously on Star Trek Strange New Worlds, not Discovery. They're showing you They're showing you flashbacks to the episodes with T'Pring and the last one with her and the nurse.
Yeah,
and so you knew they were going to bring her into this episode.
Yeah. So of course we get the counselor, or former counselor Aspen. She comes on the ship because it's funny. It's like, again, the Enterprise is on the border of Federation space. It's like they're right on the cusp of being outside. So, and of course they're they're after this one vessel called the Serene Squall, and Counselor Aspen is telling Pike about this and everything, and she's putting up a really good front, and we're going to get to who she really is later on in the episode, but yeah, so this colony was under attack by these space pirates, yeah, and on this vessel called the Serene Squall. So so basically Pike and a landing party basically go onto the Serene Squall. But little do they know that as they beam to the ship, some of the other crew members of the Serene Squall beam aboard the Enterprise and are able to, infiltrate it and everything. So as we're going through this, what did you think of these scenes, Burley?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, but I like to just one thing. I want to go back a little bit where they're talking after they meet her, and they're talking. They're having the meeting, having a little food and all that,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Yeah, Pike, you're the Boy Scout of the Federation." Pike's like, "What the hell?" It's like,
Yeah.
"No, it's actually in your file."
All right.
He's
Boy
like,
Scout. Yeah.
he's like, "I'm a Boy Scout. What the hell?" Like,
Yeah, but he is
like,
though. I mean, he is. I mean,
yeah,
come
he
on.
is, but he
Yeah.
isn't. But now he's got like, okay, now I got to change things up because people think of the Boy Scouts, so we got to break some rules and just to go and do what we need.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, they go aboard, and then I'll go back to the image here where the landing party goes onto the ship, and then of course they're overrun by the crew members of the Serene Squall, and then of course on the Enterprise, the Enterprise starts to get infiltrated and taken over, and I was really surprised at how easy it was for these pirates to take over the Enterprise like that. I thought that was my only kind of pet peeve with this episode is like, man, they were able to take over the ship that easily,
Yeah, that was like, I'm not the biggest fan on that. It was
Yeah.
like, seriously.
Yeah. 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 So anyway, we get we get this space pirate guy. He's kind of like the captain of the space pirates. And Burley, I have to admit, man, when I first saw this guy, he reminded me of your fellow Canadian, the late great John Candy.
Yeah, you can see some John Candy in him.
Yeah, I mean, John Candy dressed up as an Orion.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it is interesting, but yeah. So, and it's funny how Pike was just playing him,
Oh,
in the episode. Go ahead, man. Yeah.
oh, that was the easiest. Like, this guy is the dumbest, easiest guy to play.
Yeah.
Like, it literally takes a thing because I love it because he's like he throws his food at Pike and Pike's like, people actually eat that, and now he's like, it's my specialty. My crew loves it. You can see all on their face like, oh
Yeah.
god. And Pike's like easily just like, okay, I know I can cook. I can cook better than this moron. So if I'd
Yeah.
say let's cook, I
Yeah.
cook them food. I can win a little and slowly learn more. And that's what he does. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah. We can discuss it over dinner. And
Right.
then it's like,
Right.
wait, I'll discuss something. And she's like, actually, the crew would like a nice meal. They
Yeah.
don't like my specialty.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if you think about back in the movies, I mean, in Star Trek Generations, there's that scene where, when Picard first meets Kirk, and he goes into his kitchen and they start cooking, and when they were making the film, they were joking with each other, Patrick Stewart and William Shatner, about starting a captain's cooking show. Yeah. And so now, I mean, Pike should join them in their cooking show. It's like make it a trifecta now. So, since Pike is, in a lot of these episodes, he's showing his culinary skills. So,
Oh
but,
yeah, no,
but
I'd watch that.
yeah, definitely, yeah. So I want to get back to I want to get to of course Aspen and Spock here. you know and how again, in this episode, we see the conflict in Spock between his Vulcan side and his human side. And she basically reveals that she was married, of course, to a Vulcan. And she is able to really play off of his human side. It's really interesting how she's able to manipulate him. What did you think of this, Burley?
I really like this, that because Spock in the lately they've been showing, like, you get the little thing earlier with Tubrang and her bringing up the human side in Spock.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's really trying to downplay it. Like, we obviously know, because if you've watched a lot of Star Trek stuff in the past, he was bullied on the planet Vulcan for his human side.
Right.
So he's trying to, he tries to push that down as much as he can and be pure Vulcan.
Yeah.
I love it. She's just so good at using, talking to him and just bringing up situations of her past and just being like, getting him to trust. Right. It's like, wow, this is just so easy to manipulate. Like,
yeah,
that's like it. I could see it happening, but also at the same time, you'd think Spock would be a little more cautious, but it's kind of continuing from what's been happening this season.
Yeah.
Because it is still like it's one and done, but it's not at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's the ironic thing about all of this is, I mean, she played off of his emotions, his human emotions, to manipulate him so much. That's that's the interesting part of this episode. That conflict between his human side and his Vulcan side. And so obviously she reveals herself, later in the episode, of course, as being the real captain of the Serene Squall. She is Captain Angel, and so, which is kind of weird. Yeah, she's Captain.
Yeah, like
Angel.
that name. I was like,
yeah. So anyway, but she, as she's starting to take over and everything, and then she comes out to Spock, I played you, Spock, I was giving you my sob story and you fell for it, basically. Yeah. So, but as she's doing that, of course, Nurse Chapel, she's obviously, running around the ship, and she's taking out some of those pirates and everything, and injecting them with the hypo spray and everything and knocking them out and stuff. That was pretty cool,
Oh yeah.
And then she's trying to, of course, take over the computers, and get control of the ship back, so, but as the episode progresses, though, of course, we're getting back to the relationship between Spock and T'Pring and Chapel, kind of this like love triangle type of situation that's starting to, kind
more
of starting to develop. Exactly. And, I think Spock is kind of, he wants T'Pring, but then again, he doesn't really understand how much Nurse Chapel has really fallen for him.
Oh yeah, no.
And so, and then on the bridge there, when Angel, has control, and she, of course, contacts T'Pring because obviously her husband, so to speak, is in the prison, like, rehabilitation colony that T'Pring is is in charge of, basically. And she's like, okay, this is the ultimatum. You give me my husband back, you free him, or Spock dies. No. So what did you think of that dilemma that had arisen?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I get it. They're going for the whole Vulcan thing here, but honestly, when this was happening, I was like, I don't care. Like, because you knew her husband wasn't gonna get released. It was just a matter of how they're gonna do it. Like, you have at first Spock saying she won't do it because of the Vulcan, and then she's like, "Well, I already calculated and figured that." because of you two being engaged and all this, it'll now do this dishonor, and you're Sarek's son, you're his prize son.
Right.
So
yeah. But then, on the bridge there, of course, Spock and, T'Pring, obviously, they like break off their relationship there. And then, of course, before that, Spock gives Nurse Chapel a huge kiss, right there on the bridge. Yeah, that was pretty good, and you can see, Nurse Chapel, she was really enjoying it.
Oh yeah, she was like, ooh,
yeah, she
this is
really wanted that.
spontaneous.
She really wanted that, yeah.
This is what out of these romance novels all I wanted, and all that. I love that, because he just goes up to her and says, "Follow my lead." She's like, "Oh, okay," and then she's like, "Oh, this is what we're doing. I can follow this lead."
So and then of course, and I'm sure, T'Pring, she really didn't like having to watch that, but then again, of course, she's going along with the show, and she and Spock, they unconsummate their relationship, and then obviously that throws everything, into like, oh man, so like Angel, she couldn't get what she wanted, and then of course the mutiny of the Serene Squall was pretty funny with Pike and them. That was pretty cool. What'd you think of that part?
Well, I love that. We'll just go back a little bit on that, because you got Pike goes back into the cage with them, and he goes to number one and saying, we're gonna play this like we did on shit, I can't remember what the planet name he says. And she's like, oh no. And everyone else is like, what? Mutiny.
Yeah, mutiny.
I love that. And he's like, I love how he just starts talking to the like other pirates on the ship. He's like, so you guys really listen to him? He's the captain, he's the one in charge. He's not the one in charge. And it's like, oh well, if shits go south, who is he gonna take care of you? No, I'm gonna take care of myself. And I love that he's so easily able just to pull and get these people. Like, Angel has the worst crewmates ever, because she's like,
oh yeah,
none of them have loyalty. They're all out for themselves. I love it, because it just takes 5 minutes. I was just waiting for Pike to just turn to the camera and say, "That was easy." Wink.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but anyway, they get the ship back and all, but of course, Captain Angel, she's able to escape, on this other little ship and get away. But later in the episode, obviously, Spock, talks to Nurse Chapel again, and Spock is just like, oh, we're just friends, oh. But deep inside, Nurse Chapel is like, come on, Spock, it's like,
come on, we work together. No one will know.
Yeah, she still has feelings for him, big time feelings for him.
She's pining for him.
Yeah, but she's holding it back, now. So yeah, but I think as as the season and into season 2 progresses, I think we're going to get more from those two. But let's talk about the ending here, because obviously there was kind of a reveal, and it basically means that this character is actually canon now. So Spock starts to speculate that Angel's husband, that she was trying to free from that rehab facility for the criminals, is none other than his half brother from his father's out of wedlock child that was born, Sybok. Of course, Sybok was played by Lawrence Luckinbill in, of course, Star Trek V: Final Frontier. So it looks like we're getting Sybok in a future episode, maybe. What do you think of this, Burley?
Yeah, this is a neat little twist. It's like, oh, so they're bringing him. Does that mean we're going to be God and he needs a spaceship? For anyone that's watched Star Trek V, you'll know exactly what I mean. Please don't watch Star Trek V. It's the worst one of the original first 6. I can easily say that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think they might go in a different direction with Sybok.
They're
I hope
heavily
so.
going to go into a different direction.
I hope
But
so.
I did not see that twist coming. That it was
Yeah.
going to be Sybok and they're going to bring him in.
Yeah.
So it's now. Are you going to do what now? What is he going to be up to?
Yeah.
Like this is something I'm sure they'll explore in either the finale or of season 1 or season 2. They're going to really bring him in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, you know, as we move into the end of the first season, I probably I don't think we're going to get any of Sybok, but I think that he'll come into season 2 at some point, because I think we still have to figure out what's going to happen to Pike. You know, but then again, you know, you have Paul Wesley. He's coming into the series in season 2 as Kirk, but I think he's still on the Farragut. Kirk is. So I think they might have some kind of joint, you know, mission with the Enterprise and the Farragut, and that's probably where we're going to see more of Kirk. Because I mean, obviously Anson Mount is going to be coming back for season 2 as Pike, but then again, you know, it's like you're going to have to progress in this timeline to, you know, show everybody what's going to happen to Pike. You know, with the 10 years vision that he's had into the future, you know, they're going to have to move forward and go through with that, because eventually Kirk is going to take over the Enterprise as captain, and then of course Spock is going to become his number one, and then you're going to have more of the original series characters come in. Of course, we have Uhura. She's going to graduate from the academy, and she'll probably go right back to the Enterprise. And then you're going to have Sulu come in. You're going to have Chekhov come in. You're going to have
Scotty.
You know, Scotty come in, and
the
Dr.
most
McCoy.
I was going to say you need Bones.
Yeah, Bones. So yeah. And it's probably not going to be Carl Urban Burley. Sorry to disappoint you, but yeah.
I'm not watching the show after that point. No, I'm kidding.
Anyway,
as much as I want it to be him, I know it's not going to be him.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So that's going to do it for the episode 7 review, the Serene Squall. So I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burleman Gaming. We hope to catch you next week for our episode 8 spoiler review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So it's been a great season so far, and we're looking forward to bringing you the next episode. So until then, so until then, live long and prosper, and take care, everyone. Peace out.
I need your pain.